Hey friends, this is Lisa from Budgeting with Lisa. I am a 47-year-old single mom to a 13-year-old boy, brand new to budgeting. So if you're learning how to budget, this is the place for you. Come along and we can help support one another in our learning how to budget journey. I have low cash budgeting, low income budgeting. I use a combination of cash with the savings challenges, but I also use bank accounts. So I have 2 checkings and many savings accounts that I use as buckets. And so today I wanted to take some time and do a little bit of a debt confession type video. And the only reason I really want to do this is because I feel led to, because there are so many people probably like me who really never learned the proper way to budget. You are a product of your environment, and so you learn what you learn. And I was always around, not to any fault of their own, but I was always around people who were broke all the time. And so a lot of times what I had witnessed, friends, families, everyone, they used credit cards to get by, credit cards to just rob Peter to pay Paul, if you ever heard that saying before. It's a interesting situation. And so you don't know what you don't know. And so just going back many, many, many years ago, because I am 47, but going back to just, my first job, 15, and I'm very proud of my parents for teaching me good work ethic. They were like, hey, if you want those expensive jeans, you need to get a job. And at 15 years old, I got a job. And they supported it. And our agreement was, because I liked popular type clothing and things like that were expensive and outside of my parents' budget, they were like, if you make half for that, say the pair of jeans were $50, you make 25, chip in 25, I'll pay the other 25. And that was our deal. And so at 15 years old, I was working and being able to dress the way I wanted to dress in public school and things like that. But I was working for it, essentially. And 16 years old, same thing, just working after school at I worked at a deli, I worked at a bagel shop, I worked at just a regular clothing store, I worked at a grocery store, anywhere I could just have a part-time job outside of school. And that helped with car insurance. I had to pay half of my car insurance. My parents helped me get a car. I had to pay them the car payment that we agreed on, put my own gas in the car, things of that nature. And so it taught me about money, all of that, and I'm very, very thankful. And then I watched a lot of my friends, get pregnant in high school, and nothing wrong with that, and nothing wrong with single moms, and nothing wrong with being a young mom. But I saw where these, friends of mine were just struggling to make ends meet because they didn't have, the greatest financial environment that they weren't raised in an environment that taught them about money and budgeting, but also, now they have a baby to take care of, and now they're stuck and they're in this hole. And it's just getting deeper and deeper, and they don't know how to get out. And so at a very, very young age, I decided I do not want that type of lifestyle. So I want to work and I want to be able to support myself in case I do have a child. I do not want to not be able to support me and my baby. And so, yeah, that's kind of where my work ethic and kind of brain was into my, from graduation to my early 20s. That's where I was. And so when I went away to college, because I was one of the first children in the family to go to college, I went away to college, and immediately, as soon as you step on campus, they're like, here's a credit card, here's money, you're a broke college student, here's credit cards. And I didn't really have any kind of, credit cards were readily used in my family and friends' families. Like, that's how everybody survived. And so I was like, yeah, sign me up for all of them. And boy, did I spend, because I'm a broke college student working at the bookstore, making not very much money, and so, yeah, everything went on a credit card. And during my first year, my grandmother was diagnosed with lung cancer, and the prognosis wasn't good. And so I immediately dropped out of college. And so I moved home, and my parents gave me an ultimatum. So I moved home with tons of debt from credit cards that I opened up at college. And I got an ultimatum because they really wanted me to stay in college. And they were like, either return to school or you need to find a full-time job with benefits in order to live at home. And so in order to be closer to my grandmother, because we were very, very close, I decided for finding a full-time job with benefits. And so I did. I found a full-time job with benefits, and it was great. Worked third shift at a pharmaceutical company. We made Centrum vitamins and Centrum Kids and all kinds of I worked in packaging. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I started working third shift, second shift, anywhere they could put me, overtime, I worked it. And I made good money, and I had benefits. And, I realized quick that, I wanted to do better. I wanted not just to work in manufacturing, but I wanted to, there was another side of the pharmaceutical campus where I worked, which was research. And I applied for a job in the research facility, and I became an executive secretary to several doctors. And so I moved over there, and I was able to find out from benefits that I could go to college, and if I passed the classes, that they would reimburse me. And so, I don't know how they do it in school now, but, I had a guidance counselor back in high school, and they were like, what do you want to do with your life? And I was always the one that was like, I have no idea. I have no idea what I want to do. How do you choose at 16, 17, 18 years old what you want to do for the rest of your life? I mean, I'm 47 and I still don't know. Sure, am I in a career and work full time? Yes, but I still, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. And I still can't really put my finger on something and was like, be like, yeah, that's exactly the path that I should have taken. So anyway, I was never that person. And so when I started paying for my own classes up front and going to community college after working a full day, I started taking classes in different things to try to find out what I liked. What did I like to do? What did I want to do? And so it led into web design and coding. And so for a little while, I was a Oracle database administrator. And I also, because I was dabbling in things in school, I was able to start the first intranet website for our department. And so that kind of leads me into where I am today. I do manage a huge intranet site and do now data analytics. Metrics and things like that. So, I am still in a similar field from that exploration that I did. So anyway, long story short, leads to meeting a guy, falling in love, thinking that, my parents have been married for, I'm 47, so they've been married almost 50 years. And so I was raised in that kind of environment. My grandparents as well, they were married for years and years and years. And so I always thought that was how everyone was raised, I guess. I didn't really see a lot of divorce in my circle when I was growing up. It was really, just not a thing. And so I always thought people were loyal and they meant what they said. And, anyway, it didn't turn out that way for me. And so the person that I met and married and had a child with was not kind. And I'm putting this out here for the intranet, but, was not kind to me and eventually was not kind to my son. And so we, don't have a relationship with that person. And I'm a single mom on a single income. So that's kind of where I am today. I've raised him 13 years now, and he's a great kid. He is a loving, kind-hearted, fun, joyful kid. And so very pleased with him, very pleased with his progress, in academics, things like that. We talk about school all the time, and now I'm starting to teach him about budgeting because it's so important. And I didn't learn it when I was his age, and I certainly didn't learn it in my early 20s. And I still didn't learn it in my 30s because I was so focused on having a baby and going through a divorce and going through all of this trauma. Didn't think about it then either. So, here we are. So, debt snapshot. Starting off with the credit cards here. So I put them in priority, but then I quickly realized that going to do a bit of if you're familiar with a snowball method or avalanche method of paying off debt, snowball is putting your credit cards in priority based on minimum payment. So you start out, or minimum, your balance. So you start off with the one with the smallest balance and you work your way down. Avalanche is ordering them based on interest rate. So you start with the highest interest rate and then you work yourself down. So anyway, I put these in order of priority based on the balance. And because I received a bonus for the company's, performance this past year, I decided that I was going to do kind of a combination of an avalanche snowballs because it's setting me up for a better outcome. So anyway, let's talk about that. So starting off with the first one. So I have 3 Capital One cards. The first one has a very small balance, $192.26, 29.74% interest rate. Minimum payment is $25, and it's due on the 19th. The second credit card is a Bank of America. Again, not a huge balance, but it's close to $500, so $449.94, a 28.24 interest rate, $39 minimum payment, due on the 2nd of the month. The third one is a Credit One, $551.62, and 28% interest rate, $30 minimum payment. And then I have a Destiny, just called like a milestone credit card, has a $737 balance, highest interest rate overall, 35.9%, and a $52 minimum payment. And then we have higher ones here going over the 1,000. So Discover, 1546, Capital One, 1883, and another one, 1905. Grand total in credit card debt, $7,266. So yeah, so when you add up all the minimum payments that I'm paying out every month, it's $330. And, you know, this is what we do to survive, right? This is the product of my environment. You know, you have credit cards. And also, when you go through a divorce and you're dealing with somebody that took advantage of you financially in other ways, and so you're dealing with the aftermath of that. And so I'm trying to rebuild credit, and it goes slow. You know, credit building is, you know, it's just, yeah. So it's slow. I'm not where I used to be. It's a lot better than what it was. I have these payments on auto draft. You know, there's no lates. There's nothing, you know, like you have to be consistent in order to get your rate, you know, your credit score to go up. And so, you know, just putting these on auto pay, auto draft or whatever, and just not worrying about them paying the minimum payment. Anyway, that's where we're at. And so looking at that, you know, these are the ones I'm not going to worry about right now, but I also have a revolving credit with a credit union. So this is my oldest account, so I will not close it because that would affect my credit. So it's right now has a balance of $4,158. It's a revolving credit. The minimum payment is $76, but I don't see this at all because I have it set up to go right out of my paycheck before I get my paycheck. Car, I owe $25,191. It's a $525 car payment. Mortgage, I owe $220,000. It's a $1,000 payment per month. And so with the other items here, $249,350 debt. I do owe on my son's braces. So $1,100 is, and it's taken out on the 15th, and that's a $100 payment. And then I have a 401k loan that I took. And so the 401k loan that I took money out of my 401k via loan, and they do tack on a little interest, but you pay yourself the interest back. So it comes out bi-monthly out of my paycheck. The total payment is $299.73. I had to take this because I had to replace my whole HVAC AC unit, heat and AC unit in my house. And so I chose to do it that way. The payoff is going to be before my son graduates. So I kind of set it up that way on purpose, because if I ever need to take another 401k loan, then I can handle it at that point in time, like either to help him get a vehicle or help him with college, going to school, etc. So I wanted the availability at that point in time. So I'm not going to worry about those. I'm not going to worry about the braces. That's going to be paid off in 11 months. No interest there. The 401k is just taken right out of my pay. I don't even see that. It just is automatically deducted before I get my, deposit. And then these big ones here, I'm not even going to conquer those yet until credit card debt is paid off. So grand total of debt is $257, almost $258,000 in debt. So going back up to credit cards. So I did get the bonus, and I'm going to take $1,200 of that bonus. And I was going to start with the first one, which I owe the least on. It's got the $192 balance. But then I was looking at this and I was like, you know what? It makes more sense to take this $1,200 and pay off the Destiny, which is the highest interest rate, and pay off the Bank of America credit card. And the reason why is because if you take these two minimum payments, let's see here. So if I take the minimum payment, I'm paying this anyway, $52.39 a month. So that's $91. I can take that pay those off, and then take that $91 that I was paying for these and add it to the first one here. So if I take the 91 and add it to my standard 25 minimum payment, I'm actually going to start paying $116 to the Capital One number 2 card here. And so obviously that'll be paid off in no time. And then I can take the 116, add it to the credit one, which is my card number 3 here. Take the 116, add it to the minimum payment of $30. I'm paying now $146 a month to credit one, and so you can see how the snowball effect and happens. And so yeah, that's my plan, and that's what I'm planning to do. So I went ahead already and I paid off Bank of America. I paid off the Destiny milestone. I am going to keep these two open. And you're probably like wondering, like, why would you keep them open? You're just going to spend again. Habits are habits, But no, I was actually researching how to, better your credit score and things like that. And they say not to close your credit cards. Only, close ones that have like a fee attached, like an annual fee and things like that. That's not serving you. That you're just paying to have the card. And so none of these are like that. I already closed one that was like that, paid it off and closed it. And so what I'm going to do, and what I heard was from, I forget what her name is. I'll post her in the description, but she was so good at explaining this. But she said, don't close those, pay them off. Don't close them, because these are reporting a positive every month. You're making a minimum payment. They're like, yay, she paid. But when you pay it off in full, they're going to be like, yay. And then they don't report anymore because there's no balance. And so what I'm planning to do, and what I did do, was I took my Amazon Prime and I added Amazon Prime, and I also took my Walmart Plus account, so $16 and $14. And I am going to pay my Bank of America. I'm paying this anyway. Every month it comes out of my fixed Bank of America checking account for my fixed expenses. I put this now to charge my Bank of America card. And then I will have my Bank of America card on auto pay. So when the bill comes due, it's automatically going to pay the $16. And so now it's going to report to the credit bureaus that, yay, Lisa paid her credit card bill in full. And that in itself is a better, like, yay than anything else, because you're paying it in full. And so I'm going to see how that goes, test it out. But I did the same thing with that Destiny card. I put the Walmart Plus membership. And so Walmart Plus will charge that Destiny milestone card. And then I have that on auto draft. And so it'll automatically pay when Destiny was due. So Destiny is drafted on the 24th, or was. And so it'll draft the $14 here instead of here. So that's what I am going to do and see how that turns out. And then I'll just keep knocking these down. I mean, once I get this number, the priority one here, Capital One number 2 card paid, and then the Credit One card paid, I'll start hitting the Discover card hard and then work my way down until I don't have any more credit card debt. But along the way, I will do the same thing that I'm doing with Bank of America, Destiny, where I will add in like DirecTV to one of these. It's going to come out anyway. But have it hit a credit card and then auto pay it through the credit card. So that way it's reporting to the credit bureaus a positive. So that's my plan anyway. So I did create this for the Capital One card that I'm going to be my first debt snowball. So the balance is $192.26. This is the one with the interest rate of 29.74%. The minimum payment is $25 currently. And so what we're going to do is take that $52, because Destiny is coming out, or was coming out, on the 24th anyway. So even though I paid it off, I still am going to start this now. And so I'm going to still take this $52 and apply it to the first, this first payment for this Capital One card, which is coming out on the 19th. And so we're going to pay $77 to this card this month. And then next month, that's when we'll have the 52 plus 25 plus the 39 from Bank of America. And so we'll just keep adding, we'll do that until this is paid off. And obviously I'm going to update you along the way, and, feel free to make suggestions, because this is the first time I've ever done this. But I think I'm on this sounds like a good, reasonable plan. So I'm excited. I'm very, very thankful for the bonus. Does it make me a little depressed that I have to use my bonus this way? Sure. Does it depress me a little bit thinking about all of the money that I've wasted because I didn't budget and I didn't know how to budget. Yeah. Yeah. When you think about it, all these years, like, you know, I'm 47. I could have been saving in my 20s, 30s. Anyway, enough of that. So I think we have a good plan here. I'm just going to use this, you know, it's kind of common sense. $52.39. That's a good chunk of change there to start snowballing and hitting these with. So, and knocking out that first one of the 35.9% interest rate, because all of these other ones are similar. So I'm excited about that. I'm happy about that. And yeah, so we'll keep you updated on everything. And if I go, I still haven't gone to the bank to get, oh, my plant fell over. I haven't gone to the bank yet, but that's on my to-do list, so we can do the cash stuffing. But you'll see I did remove that Destiny $52 out of there. Another thing I did with the my bonus, I took $200, and because it's a goal of mine, I stuck it into a buffer savings account. And so now I have a $200 buffer for my accounts, my 2 checkings, which makes me feel better. I did pay off those. And so I have to decide now what I'm going to do with the leftover. And where I'm, you know, what am I going to do with that? So you'll see here, I still have to withdraw the 53 to cash stuff, but I did make those payments, those credit card payoffs of, so that was an exciting thing. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you stuck around this long, thank you. You know, if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I hope a lot of that made sense. I hope maybe someone out there can relate to me. And I look forward to seeing you in the comments. You know, comment below if you've done the debt snowball and how it's working for you, or if you are wanting to do the debt snowball, because maybe we can cheer each other on. And you know what, I'm just gonna continue, you know, budgeting and trying to figure out my own way of doing this that works for me. You know, I envy a lot of you that take the cash out and stuff the envelopes, and I would love to do that. However, I am not disciplined enough to go to the bank. I'm an introvert. I barely leave my house. I work from home. And so it's a chore to get out and about. So anyway, thank you so much for listening to me, listening to some of my story of where I came from and kind of like the thoughts on, you know, debt and money and credit cards. I truly appreciate this community. It's been really helpful to me to watch all of your videos and learn. So I really do thank you for taking the time to make those videos and pour your heart into something like this to make your futures better. And so anyway, with that, have a great rest of the evening, and I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye.